Hello, everybody. Renee here, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. And I have a box for you, a really cute, fairly easy box that I'm going to show you how to build. So it's quite a large box, actually, and you'll see that when I build it, you'll get a closer look. And so let's go ahead. It's almost 2 o'clock. It's Thursday afternoon. So let's go ahead and get live on Facebook. All right. Okay, I should be live. Let's see how this is going. It looks like I'm muted, so that's kind of good. So that's kind of good. No, not muted. Here we go. There you go. Now I'm muted. All right. Hi, everybody. I see that there are 2 watching, I believe. So hello. I'm here. I'm just doing some work here, making sure everything's going well. So take a few minutes. All right. There's something else that just popped up that I don't want. So let's just go here. I'm having a few little glitches today. That's okay. I'm still here. Wonderful. All right, everybody. So we're going to make these 2 boxes today. All right. And this is the box. It's a fairly large box. All right, it would fit. Let's look at a Kleenex. All right. Of course, you can fill it with chocolate, and I like to fill them with jewelry usually, or something for a nail polish and maybe a file, because nail polish remover file would fit in here, and the little cotton balls, or maybe even a lipstick with some nail polish and nail file. So that would work really easily. And here are the tissues, just to give you an idea how big the box is. All right. But of course, chocolate always works. The other thing about this box is that it doesn't close on its own. So you're going to use a belly band to close it. And the nice thing about that for the belly band is, and for this box, is you can actually have it sideways like this, okay? Or you can have an up and down box, all right, like this, okay? So it all depends on you, okay, which box you would like. Here we use the pansies and the lemon molly and cardstock. And of course, we used our great little ladybug builder punch, which I absolutely love. Pansy dies, pansy patch dies, I believe, is still available in the new catalog. Great. So you can have it up and down like this, or you can have it sideways like this, whatever you prefer. All right. And so let's go ahead and build this project. So I went ahead and gave you the information yesterday. And so if you look at my feed, you will see the information. And so basically it's an 8.5 by 7. And so simply I take the 11-inch side and cut it. I just take the 11-inch side and cut it to the 7. So I have a piece that is 3 inches wide, which is actually a nice piece of cardstock, which is a great backing. This is the new Pebble Path cardstock. One of the new in 5 colors. And so it's 8.5 by 7. And then you're going to score the 7-inch side at 1 3/4, 3 1/2, and 5 1/4. So basically, each of your sections are 1 3 1/4 wide. That's what happens. So each section ends up to be 1 3/4 wide. All right, so 1 3/4, 3 1/2, 5 1/4, the short side. Then you're going to go to the long side, and all you're going to do is score the one end at 1 3/4, and then you're going to turn it around and score the other end at 1 3/4. I'm going to see if that helps. So 1 3/4. I have a new camera, so maybe that will help. All right. So again, these are all 1 3/4. These are all 1 3/4. Okay, once that is done, all right, you are going to cut a piece of cardstock of the same color. I'm going to be doing mine in Pebble, but I want to show you in this first, and the Pebble Path. But you're going to cut a piece, a strip that is 7 1/4 by 2 inches wide. I use the wider one. You can make it thinner. You can make it anywhere from 1 1/2 inch if you want your belly band to 2 inches, or even wider if you want. That's up to you. And I score each end at 1 inch. So I'm going to score each of these ends. Take that end and score it at 1 inch, and then flip it and score at 1 inch. And then I'm going to score at 2 3/4 and 4 1/2 from one of those ends. So then I'm going to score at 2 3/4 and 4 1/2. All right. And that becomes our belly band. Okay. Once I have the belly band, I'm going to go ahead, and I know that I'm going to have a hole here and embellish the end. So I am going to have to punch a hole. And I made it easy for myself. I made it to 2 inches so that now when I put this in, I know that the halfway point is 1 inch. So I'm just going to mark the 1 inch here on this side, and I'm just going to go in here and mark the 1 inch on this side. And this allows me to make sure that I have my hole in the center. All right, so that'll be good. All right, so the other thing I'm going to do is, if you have 6 by 6 designer paper, you might want to make them a little shorter. It's actually 1 1/2 by 4 7/8. So the designer paper, you can cut it to 1 1/2 by 4 7/8. Or if you're going to use other than the 6 by 6, I would go with 1 5/8. So it's just 1/8 more than the half. So this becomes then, and I like it better because it's tighter on the side. So it's just 1/8 beyond the half. So 1 5/8 by 4 7/8, just 1/8 before the 5, and that'll make it more equal. When you do that, you end up with these 2 pieces. All right, when you cut this off, you end up with these 2 pieces, which is wonderful because you can go ahead and make the ends. You can decide to make ends or not. Okay, and so you can use this scrap to make the ends. The ends are going to be basically 1 5/8 by 1 5/8. So you can cut these 2 to 1 5/8 by 1 5/8. And I have designer paper a lot of times. So 4/8 is the half, so it's just beyond the half. When I have designer paper, well, these are pretty small, so I won't do that. But I do put them together a lot of times. 4/8, 1/8 beyond the halfway point is the 5/8. So you can go like this. And then halfway point and 1/8 beyond. This is going to be really close. It is. So I could have almost left that, but decided not to. And then 1 5/8. So 1/8 beyond that. And then that. And then what you're going to do then, 1 5/8 half and 1/8. This is going to be really thin. Again, this one might not even, yeah, might not even have anything there. Yeah, very, very thin. That's fine. Then what you're going to do is simply go ahead and split this in half like this. And then you're simply going to cut it. And then you have each of those ends. So it's fairly simple to do because you have the scrap anyway. So that's a little extra. All right. And that'll make your ends. So that's always good. Now, so what you're going to do, and I'm going to tell you this right off. When I first cut this piece, I cut it wrong because I cut at the short end, and you're going to cut the flaps. You're going to create your flaps on the long end of your box. Okay, so I'm going to go to that 8.5 inch side, which is right here, and I'm going to cut up. I'm going to create my box. Now, as soon as you cut this designer paper and you cut these, and you have scored and cut this to the correct length, you are ready to start putting your box together. So simply, I'm going to the wrong side. You would cut the long side here, and you would cut the long side here. This one is just the show and tell, so we're fine. This is the long side here. And this is long. So cut up the long side and then miter. I once taught you all about mitering, where you go out, you want to cut, you always miter the flap. This is the flap. And so you're going to miter the flap, and you go from the outside in. So it's wide on the outside and narrow on the inside. And that's how you're going to do that. It's always done that way. So you're going to cut this, okay? And so you're going to do your flap always. There you go. And there you go. Outside in. Okay, as you go in towards the center of your piece of paper, it gets more narrow. Fatter on the edge, thinner on the inside. Now, once that is done, you do need a scoring tool. Your bone folder will not work. It's not strong enough. You do need a scoring tool of some sort. The Pica tool is a great, great tool for this. And we're going to do a little bit more scoring, and I'm going to show you this. I do have to stand up for this one. And what we're going to do is we're going to go from, okay, so this is the short side. You can see this, right? This is the long side. This is the short side. We want to go from the center, from the middle, from the center out to the corner, out to the corner. All right. So you're going to go from the center out. So it'll make it a little easier since I started cutting it incorrectly. But that's okay. And what I do is I put my point here and hold it, make sure I'm where I want to be. Once I know where I want to be, I'm going to make sharp, strong. Okay, make it strong. And then I'm going to go here the same way. I'm going to put my point there. That looks good. That could go a little bit further down. That looks good. That looks good. And then I'm going to go here to that center point. Okay, so right to that center point. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm going to go here, hold it, then rotate up to where I think it's going to be there. That one went faster, I could tell. As you can see, I'm going pretty strongly here. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to go here, bring it there, and bring it there, bring it there. and then I'm going to score. Okay, you can use a scoring tool. You can go into the scoring machine and use that. I do actually find this a little easier. Now, when you do this, what you need to know is this has to come to the inside. This has to come to the inside, so go like that. And then what I do is I take my fingers and simply, you can see how I'm doing this. Simply fold it. And once I have it slowly, but surely, then I go ahead and crease it down, just like that. See? That's how you do that. So you just have to be a little patient. You have to know which direction you're going. I know I'm going this way with this one, and I'm going to hold it here so it doesn't go beyond. You can see my finger is right here, so I don't go beyond. I'm going to go like that. And then I know that that is going to go on the outside, so I'm going to kind of go like that now. But I always push in the middle first. Seems to work for me when I do these. Pushing in the middle always works. So then I can go ahead and fold that down. So that creates my box. So now I'm ready to glue. And this is not actually the worst, because I think it would still work if I wanted it to. All right. And so now you do have your box, because you can glue now your pieces together. And I'm going to show you how to do that with the other piece, now that you've seen how this works. Okay, so that's how that works. Very good. So this becomes my template. And I made a template so that I will be able to use it over and over again in the future. Okay, and this is going to be the card. Now, what I want to do is I want to lie my designer paper. Realize that when you have your designer paper, if you have direction, you want to make sure that it's all facing up when you turn it around. So you have to decide, because you want this up and this up and this up and this up. Okay, so pay attention when you go ahead and put your designer paper on, and I'll show you what I mean. So here, this is up. The birds are facing correctly. The birds are facing correctly here as well. As I turn it, my birds are facing correctly. As I turn it, my birds are facing correctly. Okay, so you just want to make sure of that. All right, if you have a direction. Now all we have to do is simply glue these on here, and that's what we're going to do. I'm using, so this is Pebble Path, one of the newer colors, and I am using an online specialty DSP. If you are looking and can't find the online store, simply in the search, when you get to Stampin' Up, in the search area, simply go and type in online store. Don't worry about it, just type it in. Go to the online store, type it in, and you will get all the items that are on the online store, no problem. The nice thing also with this one, that if you cut it consecutively, you can place it consecutively on here so that this piece matches with that piece. I had some scrap of this, so that didn't work out, but I'm not so worried about that. It's so pretty. The beautiful, beautiful designer paper. There are two colors, a more goldish Calypso coral. And this is, I believe, more pool party-ish or Coastal Cabana-ish. And gold. It's beautiful. It's beautiful paper. I thought this would be nice, a little bit elegant. So maybe you can even put a little gift certificate in here. Maybe not a paper one. You could roll up a paper gift certificate for someone to go get their nails, to go to the spa or a dinner or something like that. That could be fun. Okay, so I did get those on, and that's what I wanted to do. Now I want to glue these, okay? And I did miter The biggest thing is all you want to do is make sure that when you glue these down, that you glue it all the way down so it's not showing. I just want to make sure my designer paper doesn't move anymore. So I'm going to do that. Now wait a second. So you still have all the dimensions here. And I wrote all the dimensions up. So here, let me make sure you can see. So here I'm going to do this side first. And I'm just going to put this down and make sure that my corners meet. Just making sure that my corner meets nicely, that I'm not overlapping, that I'm not too high. I can do that because I mitered. I'm going to hold for a few seconds because if I don't hold, it will move. And I really don't want it to move. I do prefer the glue. The glue holds better and tighter. So I do like that. I hope everyone's having a great day. We are already in May. Mother's Day is already over. Can't believe that. I'm going to go to the other side. Same thing. I just want to make sure that when I do my corners, that I do them so that they are good here at the edge. I just want to make sure that they are good at the edge, nicely folded at the edge. And I want to hold. So now next is our Father's Day, right? I have a few card ideas. Did you see that paper pumpkin that's coming in May? Oh my gosh, it's absolutely gorgeous. It has some, the cards, the front and the back have the design. So the card is a full card of design, meaning that it is prone for doing some alternate cards. It's just great. Again, here, I'm just going to glue, as you see, I'm just gluing each one separately. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want my corners to be good. I don't want overlapping and a mess. So the best thing to do when doing that is to just go ahead and put them together and hold them. And it's just I just put the glue on the flap, each of the flaps, just like this, right? And then put it in there and make sure it is where I want it to be. Just making sure. So I have them exactly where I want them. And that's your box already. See how lovely? Look how lovely that box is. Look how pretty. Your box is basically done. All right, let me just make sure my edges are good. Make sure my edges are good. They look good. I'm going to just let it sit there and glue together while I do my other section. Now you're going to need a corner punch. You can round it by hand. Of course, you can make a little drawing and just make half moons and then cut it. You can also go ahead and use a circle punch and just cut the edge off if you want, or you have the trio punch, which I kind of like. And the trio punch works like this. You're going to put the one side in. This is what I want. Put the one side in, the side that I'm looking, the image that I want is facing me, and I'm going in this way on the right hand side, and I'm going to punch it, and then I'm going to flip it and keep it the exact same way and do the other side. That's how this is done, so that they are the same. Okay, so that's how I did that, and do that the exact same way. I'm going to go in here like this, not going to move it, and I love this trio punch when I do it right. Maybe I should stand up. There you go. There you go. Then I'm going to flip it and feed it in the exact same way that I fed the other side in, and cut. Yes. And now what I'm going to do, I marked it in pencil, as I said, correct, on each end, so that when I go, you see it has the marking right here. So now when I go in, I can see my marking and my pencil mark. So now I know that I'm going to be more centered than not. That's the idea, more centered than not. I'm not sure what I did there. I should have had it facing me, but that's fine. More centered. And then you get your center. You get your centerpiece. Okay. So next, what you're going to do now that that's done, you have all those measurements and you can go back. Now what you're going to do is we can go ahead and fold this as we want. I can erase this real quick. Of course, we really want my good eraser. I love the Stampin' Up! Pencils, but the erasers are already just about gone, so which are good erasers as well. So now what we're going to do, there really isn't anything that you put on the box. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to put these together and you're going to put your ribbon. Now I cut 16 inches off. And I would feed that right in there. And feed that right in there. Okay. Gonna feed that in the hole. If I can. There you go. And then what I'm going to do, make sure that that's straight. Then we can put it to any side we want. I think that's fine. And then you simply tie your bow. And this will keep that box closed. And again, it can be up and down or sideways, whichever you want. This has no image to go ahead and mess up, so I can decide what's up and what's down, which does make it easier. I did not quite get that other hole in the center for some reason. It's because I was at an angle, but it doesn't matter because you really don't see it. As you can see, you really don't see it. So now that's all I did was simply wrap it around, right? And you're set. So now it's all about decorating and those edges. Now those edges, as I said before, I just folded that. Now you don't have to do them, but you can if you want. I'm gonna cut that right there. And then I glue that right in here, right? And it's pretty tight, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that was 1 5/8 inches. You could probably make it 1.5 inches if you like. I just like things tighter than not. And that's because when they are tighter, a lot of times, it's easier to center them, to be honest. So it's much more, sorry about that. It's much more fun. I think my camera needed to come more this way, like that. Sorry about that. I have a new camera basically. And so I got a new phone. So maybe I was a little bit out of viewing. I hope not. I hope not. Not too much anyway. And again here, I'm just going to put that in there. Center that. It's a pretty tight fit, but I want it to be a tight fit. So you can definitely do 1.5 by 1.5 pretty easily. But again, I like them tighter. And then I'm just going to cut just like the other one. I just took the scissors, I folded it in half, and then I just cut it in half. It's so perfect. A perfectly easy box. Once you have the dimensions and you know which ends to cut, okay, really, it really is an easy box. And again, I made mine pretty tight. Yeah, that's better. You can see that better. I love this designer paper. Again, it's an online specialty designer paper, and there are only 2 colors. All right. And you can't miss it. But what wouldn't this be also, besides a birthday? I decided I would do it for a birthday. But besides a birthday, wouldn't that be great for a wedding? Something for a little wedding gift holder. If you like to make these things, wouldn't that be fun for your bridesmaids, or maybe a gift for the table for people to pick up? All right. With the bag of maybe petals in there. You could put some petals in there so they could go ahead and throw petals afterwards. That's something that works. Also, I know that there people do bubbles, so you can have the little bubble container in here easily. So that could be really, really fun. So here, what we have is on this one, all I did is glue on the side, let's celebrate you, and then just put your little ladybug punch, builder punch, and a little gem. And, that's all I did for that one. All right. Now for this one, again, as you saw, I went a little bit beyond that, and I put all kinds of stuff on each end. I also, if you notice, I didn't put the label here. I put it across here, and that works, okay, because it is attached to each side. It's simply attached to each side here and here. All right, so it doesn't matter. So if you look, I'm just going to show you how I attach that. I left it open to show you. So I put a glue dot here and a glue dot here, but you can go ahead and glue it down. And then I just simply put it right there on each one of those. And that really works nicely. On this one, what I'm going to do is definitely put this great flower on here, I think. I'll put the flower on here, and then maybe also go ahead and put that label. Well, I can't do quite across. It has to be up and down if I do that. For that, you do have to have it up and down. All right, you can't do it if it's that way. So I could put the label here. All right. The size of the label, that this is a little bit bigger than the other one. I wouldn't go much bigger than this. I could still go ahead and put this down and then have a little sentiment here at the end, but I would not go as far as this is concerned. I think this was a better size, which was 1.5 inches by the 2 inches. It actually went over. And of course, this does go over, which is fine. As you can see, it makes no difference. So 1.5 inches. And I think this is a little bit fatter than 1.5 inches, if I'm not mistaken. This is probably, well, yeah, it's a little bit, let's say hair bit wider, which makes a difference. But what you can do then is we can go ahead and do that, and then have that right there, and that would work real nice. So it also can go like, think like this would go just fine, like this, you could do something and have something small. I do like this. Maybe this will be better even. Something like that and that looks good. That looks more geometrical, right? Like that. But for right now, I'm going to just put that on there actually. And then I might worry about the other side later. But this is from the Cheerful Daisies. And this is from that bundle. These are the dies that I cut out. And I'm going to just put that like there. Just like that. And I do have some little flowers, some other little flowers here. I'll put that a little further in, maybe like that. Yeah, I'll just center it. And so then what you have is something like that. You can also go ahead and put a hole through this, and that is just a hole punch, which is another idea that I had, where you simply just hole punch this. All right. And once you hole punch this, you can go ahead and stamp it. And I like this idea. You go ahead and stamp it. And then you have that, like that and like that. And then all you have to do is take that and put that in a little knot. And then that would work as well right there like that, where you could then have your little label right here and then that right there. That can work. A lot of people, what they do though, just to go over some of the options with this, is they will take some twine and actually wrap the twine around. They will take some twine take some white twine. Oh, I have some blue twine too. Oh, that's fun. Let's see. That's probably what I will do. And I might use this one because it has, yeah, that one looks great. That's the one I'll use. This is again from the Daisy Patch. That's great. And there and there. And the blue I would like to use is a Coastal Cabana blue or a Pool Party blue, but I think I'll do a Coastal Cabana because it's darker. And then this would be similar to your Coastal Cabana. And do this like this, I believe. And then what we'll do, of course, I don't need that much. Hold on, didn't get that quite right. I don't need so much. Let's cut that here. Let's make a decision. Let's go ahead and do this here. And here. I am not going to stamp a sentiment on right now because I want to stamp one on later. And what you can do here is once that is on, you can go ahead and tie that around here. and simply apply that right there. That's what I've seen people do. Just like that. Of course, that side. And then once that's tied around, I would just cut it off because there's no need for it. You can tie it into a knot and just tie it around. And it just looks like that ribbon is, and of course they're quite nice. The ribbons match, so I would definitely do matching ribbons so you really can't see that. And then there's your little label, and there is your beautiful, beautiful little flower. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I would cut these off and I will put a label right here, and you are done. Just trim that off a little bit. And you are done. And that can be extra little funness. Yep, that's sweet. Okay, that's it. Knowing me, I have to cut a little more off because then it will look really cute this way. I think it'll be really, really sweet like that. And so you have a little extra fun there on that. It's a very, very pretty box because of that designer paper, and definitely very chic looking because of that gray. And definitely something like this reminds me of cosmetics. See, I didn't glue this one little piece down, so I'm going to try and do that. We'll see. Got some glue there. Glue that down. The way I do these dies is I use brushes, and I'm going to show you some brushing techniques next week. I think that's what I want to do. And so then this just comes off and on. You don't have to break it. You don't have to break the seal. It just comes off and on at all times. Okay, I think I have taken up enough of your time. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, please comment. Again, look at my Facebook page, right? And look at yesterday's Wednesday, or no, was it Wednesday night? No, it was this morning. Look at this morning. I think early this morning was when I posted all the measurements for the box, and then I went through them at the beginning of the video, and then showing you those final pieces. So that's it. That's your box. Fun. All right, guys, I hope you have a great day, and I'm thinking of you. And check in with me. I always have ideas, and well, mostly ideas to share. That's what I usually do. All right. So I'm signing off. Please like, please subscribe to my YouTube page when you see me put up this video on YouTube. All right. Bye-bye now.